to Marco's Paper, Top 12 Christmas Favorites for 2013. Today we're going to talk about Pastel's metallic pastels. These colors just came out this fall, and we are going to show you a couple of simple ways to make beautiful Christmas cards using the metallic pastels, some embossing folders, and then a little bit of embellishment. The first card that you see right here is actually made from white cardstock. As you can see, I just took a piece of plain white cardstock, and then I took an embossing folder, and this one is the Sizzix Tim Holtz Christmas embossing folder. Ran that through. To add some color, I used some pastels. For this one, it is the magenta color, and this is the bright yellow green. Just colored the front of that after I embossed it. Then, to add some extra color, I took my sanding grip, did a little bit of sanding, and you can see right here on the edge where I have used the rich gold metallic pastel, and when I go over the sanded area, you can see where the color, where the pastel is picked up on the paper that's been roughed up by the sandpaper. So that is one way to get a little variation with your pastel on paper. Just go ahead and sand the embossed area. Now you can go ahead and take the pastel across the embossed area just by holding your, this is a knife, one of the soft knives from Pastel with a sponge on it. And you can take your pastel, rub it on the bottom of your knife, then rub it over the embossed area. However, to keep the pastel on a little longer and to give it a little better grip, something to hold on to, if you take your Versamark pad and run it across your paper, you'll notice that my Versamark pad isn't terribly clean. However, that doesn't make a difference in this. You'll get that sticky embossing powder on there, and then run your pastel metallic over the top of that with a knife and the soft sponge, and you can see how that Versamark just attracts the pastel and gives you a nice rich color. Now you may notice that I've gotten a little bit messy in a few places. Between the Believe, you can see a little bit of the pastel on the back of the card. One of the interesting things about pastel is that you can take an eraser, just a regular white eraser, and do a little bit of erasing. So I am not terribly worried about there being too much on the background, so I'm just going to take a little bit of it off. Now the other part of this is I have created my background color with pastel, so if I erase too much, I could erase my background color. So that's how we got our two tones of pastel on a white cardstock. We used the pastel to create the background color of the card, and then used the metallics to give it that bright brass color. And this is the finished card where we have the background that's done with the magenta, and pewter is the metallic that we've used over the top of that. You'll notice we have some ribbon on here, and I will quickly show you what we did with the ribbon. Is we just have some seam bindings. Took a couple of colors of pastel just as a little bit of contrast. Colored my ribbon. And then I'll apply that right to my card. I'll have a little contrast with the brass and the gold, the brass and the green with that purple. Wrap it around here, put a little embellishment on it, and we have a simple card front. Then Chris is going to show you another card using the metallic pastels on colored cardstock.
Another favorite thing is Spellbinder's 3D embossing folders, and you'll notice that the folder is very well defined, and when you use that on your cardstock you will get a very deep emboss. And we're going to use the Versamark technique again, and you can rub your Versamark right over. And again, I'm going to use the rich gold, keeping my tool nice and flat, and just hitting those raised parts of my cardstock. And again, that Versamark is just grabbing that color, really making that embossed area stand out. And if you even want a little bit more color, just go over those areas again. Simple, easy, and a very stunning effect. And here's the finished card. Using a little bit of Versamark just on the edges, and my tool on that small rectangular piece stamped the Merry Christmas sentiment and popped up with foam dots.
Merry Christmas.